Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share a story with you. It's about a man named Leo, and it's a story that might just change how you see the people around you every day. Leo was a waiter. Not just any waiter, but one of those people who seem to blend into the background, a ghost in a crisp white shirt. He worked at the Gilded Spoon, a restaurant that prided itself on its shimmering chandeliers and the clinking of expensive wine glasses. For 10 years, Leo had been a part of this scene, yet he remained invisible. He was an expert at his job. He could balance a tray laden with food with the grace of a dancer, anticipate a customer's need for a water refill before they even realized their glass was half empty, and memorize complex orders without ever writing them down. But to the patrons, he was just a pair of hands that brought food, hands that cleared plates. They looked through him, their conversations flowing around him as if he were a piece of furniture. "Excuse me," they'd say, without making eye contact. "Can we get the check?" Their eyes already on the door. He'd hear snippets of their live celebrations, business deals, lovers' quarrels, while his own life remained a complete mystery to them. He'd smile his polite, practiced smile, say, "Right away, sir," or, of course, "Madam," and retreat back into the shadows of the bustling dining room. At night, Leo would go home to his small, quiet apartment. He lived alone, surrounded by books. He was a voracious reader, a lover of history, a self-taught expert on everything from ancient Rome to the mysteries of the cosmos. In his small world, he was a king of knowledge, but at the Gilded Spoon, he was just the waiter. This duality was his silent burden. He often wondered, does anyone see me? The real me? One Tuesday evening, the restaurant was unusually slow. Only a few tables were occupied. At a corner table sat an elderly gentleman, dining alone. He had kind eyes that crinkled when he smiled, and unlike most, he looked directly at Leo when he ordered. "I'll have the sea bass, please," he said, and then added, "My name is Arthur." Leo was taken aback. In 10 years, no customer had ever introduced themselves. "Leo," he replied, a genuine smile replacing his professional one. Throughout the meal, Arthur would catch Leo's eye and offer a warm nod. When Leo came to clear the main course, Arthur didn't just wave him away. Instead, he asked, "Busy night, Leo?" "Not so much tonight, Mr. Arthur," Leo said, surprised to be engaged in conversation. "Please, call me Arthur," the man insisted. "You know, this restaurant has a fascinating history." It was built on the site of an old theater from the 1920s. Leo's eyes lit up. This was his territory. The Orpheum Grand, wasn't it? It was famous for its vaudeville shows before it burned down in '38. Arthur's eyebrows shot up in surprise and delight. "My goodness, you know your local history. I'm impressed." Most people these days are only interested in what's on their phones. For the next 10 minutes, they stood by the table, two strangers lost in a conversation about the past. Leo spoke about the architecture of the old city, and Arthur shared stories his grandfather had told him about seeing shows at the Orpheum. For the first time in a decade, Leo felt seen. He wasn't just a waiter. He was a person with thoughts, with knowledge, with a passion. As Arthur prepared to leave, he handed Leo a generous tip, but that wasn't what mattered. He also handed him his business card. "Leo," he said, "I'm the curator at the City Museum. We have a Community Voices lecture series. I think you'd make a wonderful guest speaker. Your passion is infectious." Leo stared at the card, the embossed letters feeling heavy and significant in his hand. Curator. City Museum. He couldn't believe it. Him? A speaker? It felt like a dream. Over the next few weeks, Leo and Arthur met several times. Arthur helped him structure his talk, encouraging him to weave his personal story into the history of the city. Leo was nervous, terrified even, but Arthur's belief in him was a powerful motivator. The man who had been invisible was about to step onto a stage, into a spotlight. The night of the lecture arrived. The auditorium at the museum was filled. Leo, standing backstage, could feel his heart pounding in his chest. He was wearing a simple suit, not his waiter's uniform, but he felt more exposed than ever. He saw his colleagues from the restaurant in the audience, their faces a mixture of curiosity and confusion. Then he walked on stage. The bright light was blinding for a moment. He took a deep breath, looked out at the sea of faces, and began to speak. He didn't just recite facts and dates, he told stories. He spoke about the city not just as a collection of buildings, but as a living entity with a soul shaped by the people who had lived there. He talked about the echoes of the past you could find if you only stopped to look, to listen. And he told them about being a waiter. He spoke of the unique perspective it gave him of being a silent observer in the middle of 1,000 different lives, of feeling invisible, and of the profound loneliness that came with it. He spoke of the simple, transformative power of a single moment of human connection. When he finished, there was a moment of silence. Leo's heart sank, then the room erupted in applause. It wasn't just polite clapping, it was a standing ovation. People were on their feet, their faces filled with emotion and understanding. His coworkers were cheering the loudest, seeing their friend, their colleague, in a whole new light. From that day on, everything changed. When Leo returned to work at the Gilded Spoon, he was no longer invisible. Customers who had been at the lecture now greeted him by name. "Leo, that was an incredible talk," they'd say. "I had no idea." They asked him questions, they listened to his answers, they saw him. He still refilled their water and brought them their food, but now there was a connection. He was Leo, the historian, the storyteller, the man who had reminded them all to look a little closer at the people they encounter every day. Leo's story isn't about becoming famous or leaving his job. It's about the quiet power of being seen. It's a reminder that everyone, no matter their role, has a rich inner world, a story waiting to be heard. All it takes is one person, one moment of genuine curiosity to change everything. So next time you're in a cafe, a store, or a restaurant, take a moment, look up from your phone, make eye contact, ask a name. You never know what incredible person you might discover hiding in plain sight. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share Leo's story with you. If it resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories like this. Until next time, take care and be kind.